The Color Out of Space is one of H.P. Lovecraft's most beloved stories, and with good reason. I just reread it today in preparation for this video, and it's even better than I remembered. This is such a fantastic story. And unsurprisingly, there have been quite a few movie adaptations of this story, all the way back to 1965's Die, Monster Die, and up to 2019's Richard Stanley version with Nicolas Cage, which I liked a lot, but some people didn't. And we will talk about all that a bit later. The fact is that which is the best version of Color Out of Space? Well, for many people, the best version by far is 2010's Die Farbe, the German version directed by Juan Wu, who also, by the way, is currently in post-production for a new H.P. Lovecraft-based movie called The Dreamlands. So it's based on the Dreamland story, so that should be pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so what was the controversy? I'll get that out of the way right now. Well, I made a list, a top 7 list of Lovecraft adaptations about a year ago, which kind of blew up actually, so that was cool. Lots of people saw it, but I got a lot of comments about, you know, how dare you put the Nicolas Cage version of Color Out of Space on your list, which I did. It was pretty high on my list. How dare you put that version while ignoring 2010's Die Farbe? And a lot of people just mentioned just how much they love that movie, and I, I replied the same, like what I'm going to say today. I love it too. It's fantastic. And I rewatched, not the entire thing, I did skip a couple of bits, but I also rewatched this just before doing this, rewatched most of it, and it really holds up well. It's a really fantastic movie. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to tell the reasons why it's so good, but I will also mention why I didn't put it on my list. So the plot, you obviously know what the story is about. I'm guessing you know who Lovecraft is. And I'm guessing that you know that story. But the movie makes a few changes to the story, most of which work really well. The first is that they move the story to Germany. The movie is set in the 1930s. It actually begins closer to our time. I think it's in the 60s, but it's not quite precise. But most of the movie is told via flashbacks, and actually 2 periods of flashbacks. The main Lovecraft story happens in the 30s, but parts of it is also adapted in the second flashback, which is right after the war. And also an extra twist has been added right at the end. I won't spoil it, but there is a twist ending that has been added. So those are the 3 main adaptations the movie makes to the original tale. What about the prose themselves? So, okay, the main conceit of making a movie called The Color, a black and white movie, is fantastically brilliant. Obviously, yeah, the one color we get to see in the movie is the color itself, and the way it's introduced throughout the movie is really subtle and well made, and again, very, very brilliant. So at first you barely see it, and it's a long way into the movie. It takes a long time before we start to see it. So it's very, very smart, and the entire movie really is like that. I mean, it's very well directed. The black and white photography is superb. It's very atmospheric. It feels like a Fritz Lang movie in many ways. Like it's just a high contrast, beautifully photographed black and white movie, extremely atmospheric, with fantastic actual direction, like the work of a director who knows his craft. It's just a great directing job. It's very close to the spirit of the story and even to the letter of the story. It's a very close adaptation, all things considered. So there are quite a lot of details which are right out of the story, which are even more evident if you've just read it as I did. I mean, it's striking how close they stay to the original tale. For instance, at the beginning, there's a whole sequence where the meteor, after it has fallen, is being experimented on by a bunch of university professors and scientists. So again, that's the entire first part of the Color Out of Space, like the Lovecraft story, is that, and the experiments and taking the chunk out of the hunk of rock and making the experiments, and the fact that the rock is shrinking, and the tests they do, the type of tests they do. That's all straight out of this story. It feeds on silicon. One of the characters mentions that. That's straight out of this story. And there's a ton of stuff like that. After a few days after the meteor has fallen, lightning starts falling from the sky because the meteor attracts lightning. That's straight out of the story. The madness of the wife, the way she becomes insane, or the type of insanity it is, very, very close to what the story is. It's essentially right out of the book once again. One of the kids of the doomed Gardner family, here it's Gärtner, it's the German version. The kid mentions the trees, like that seems to be alive, and so what's wrong with the tree? So that's a big part of the story as well. It's a detail, but a very flavorful detail of the story. So you have that, and so a lot of details like that. But even further, so the entire sequence towards as we're getting near the end, there's one of the most powerful moments of the story when one of the neighbors, like the neighboring farm, visits the unfortunate Gardner family, and by that time he's the only one who ever visits them. They've stopped going to the city. They're all going insane. The kids don't go to school anymore. Things have become pretty dire, and so our narrator, he visits the city, and he visits the farmhouse, and he thinks it's abandoned, but he finds old Nahum in his unheated room, and so there's no fire in the fireplace, and he tells his kid, "You put fire in the fireplace," and of course there's no kid there. And the visitor says, yeah, so how's your family? And he says, oh, they're sitting right there. There's no one. It's massively creepy. You truly feel the cosmically horrible insanity of the whole thing. Well, that's Lovecraft, right? And so that whole sequence is a perfect recreation of the whole sequence from the book. And last thing I'll mention on that, about that sequence in particular, but it's a good example of how the movie reproduces one of the mainstays of Lovecraft's, I would call it, style, a technique he uses a lot, which is a literary technique, which is telling the story by circling it. Okay, you don't go straight for what is happening. You have people looking from afar and over time and seeing the changes, the horrible changes in the Gardner family. It's told over time, and it's told via fragments, and fragments being observed from afar. And the whole thing about Lovecraft is he never really tells you certainly the worst of it. He we actually kind of see the color, but he keeps saying, yeah, it's kind of a color, but it's not a color. it's this, but it's not that, right? It's always something that can't be described. The whole thing about Lovecraft is the unnameable, the unspeakable. And this movie reproduces that really well because, again, it's not telling the story via, okay, this happens, and then this happens, and this happens. It's like, and you kind of have to piece together the full picture, but you never quite do, and the parts that you don't are always the most horrible. So that's pure Lovecraft. It's really, really brilliant. Fantastic stuff. The scientific experiments at the beginning, I mentioned that. The whole science part really reminds us that at its heart, Lovecraft stories are science-based horror stories. That's their ethos, that's their theology, if you like. So you have that in there. The German setting is super interesting. Now, I won't go into the whole Third Reich thing or the whole Nazi thing because it's barely mentioned in the movie. Actually, it's not mentioned at all. But it is super interesting that it is set in Nazi Germany, and if we were to have a discussion on that, the interesting discussion would precisely be that, yeah, this is how a lot of totalitarian regimes actually work, is that it's designed in a way that you can pretend it's not totalitarian, right? So that's interesting, like if you want as a political discussion, it's actually pretty interesting. But the fact is that just the fact that it's set in Germany is super cool. It's really interesting, and they used it really well, and they managed to make it at once, at the same time, supremely German and exactly the same as the Lovecraft version. I mean, all the names of the characters are mostly the same, like Nahum and his children, like Thaddeus and so forth. So anyway, it's just a great use of the German setting. You have a comparable technique used in the Japanese version of Shadow over Innsmouth, which is also very good. The main actors are mostly pretty good. Certainly like the two main leads, the two male leads, and the wife as well, the gardener wife, she's pretty good. But the gardener father and the neighbor, who's essentially the main character, they're pretty good. They do a good job. You get the feeling watching this is that essentially everyone is an amateur actor or a semi-pro, maybe actor, but they give off amateur actor vibes, like fan movie vibes, like high quality fan movie vibes. So they're okay. Yeah, they're okay, but they do really get a great job, making you feel what the movie is supposed to make you feel. So even though you can tell that they're not super professional actors, they do a good job, and certainly the two leads are very good. All in all, the thing is that the movie is super atmospheric. The horror parts, like the horror movie part, the main Lovecraft thing, it works supremely well. The horror of the family as it degenerates, which is the core of the affect of the story, you have it 1000%. Like you truly feel it. It works really, really well. Like what's happening to mommy. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. And all in all, it just works really, really, really well. It's a fantastic movie. So I love it. It's great. Why didn't I put it in my top 7 list? Again, you know how it is. Like anyone who makes lists of top whatever, part of the fun is arguing about what's on the list and what's not. And on one day, you might put a movie on a list, and you might pick another on another day. But why didn't I put this one on my top 7 list, even though I do love it a lot, and rewatching it today, it's very impressive. Well, as I said, it feels like a fan movie. That's actually not that big of a problem because, I'm going to spoil my list on the other video, but my number one movie adaptation, my favorite Lovecraft adaptation is the 2005 Call of Cthulhu adaptation by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, who did such a stupendous job that, as I mentioned in the other video, I don't think anyone will ever be able to beat it. It's perfect, and it's such like a work of love, and so it's beautiful and it's fantastic, and it really sticks to the letter of the story. It's fantastic. So being a fan movie doesn't really mean that you can't be on a top 7 or a top 10 list. But it does chink a little bit. It's because, as I said, the actors are so sometimes the voices of the English speaking characters, they're not very good, but again, that doesn't really matter. So I'm starting with the stuff that actually doesn't matter, because like plenty of grade A masterpieces are shot in a language and have characters speaking another language that sound terrible if you speak that language. Like The Sun, like I think it's a Sokurov movie. I forget the director, but about the Emperor Hirohito. Emperor Hirohito. You try saying that 12 times fast. Anyway, it's a total masterpiece, but there's an American officer in there. Yeah, he's not very good, so it's okay. It doesn't really matter, okay? But it is there. Like the English-speaking characters, they sound really amateurish. So not a major point, but it's there. What does matter a bit more, if we're being completely honest, okay? The music, sometimes it's okay, but a lot of the times it's a bit on the nose. It's a bit horror movie cliche, so the music is sometimes obtrusive, especially like in the beginning. There's just sort of montage sequence that kind of feels like an advert for a Michael Bay movie. It has sort of that feel and rhythm. So that's not super effective. And the two main things in order of what made it really not be on my list, though again, I love it. There's some dodgy CGI. There's a giant mutated fly or a bee, and I think it's a bee, and there's some other stuff. There's not a lot of it, but the color is made with CGI. Some of it, that I'm okay. I will give it a pass, because how else are you going to do it? But the CGI bee, for me, I found it really distracting. I have similar issues with at least one other beloved adaptation of Lovecraft, but topic for another day. So my thing is that it's better not to put the dodgy CGI. Better not to have your mutated bee if your only option is dodgy CGI. Just don't put it. Try something else. You can find other scary stuff to put in your movie, because it's just distracting. And everything else is so good, really, that when you see that, it just takes you out of it. So I'm thinking of Ghost of Mars, which has kind of the same issue. I love Ghost of Mars, actually. I'm very indulgent for that movie, but a lot of people have complained about the CGI. And it is true that it's a good example of a sequence, a movie that has a sequence with special effects made with computer-generated, effects that just it doesn't work. Okay, so if you have the budget and the team to make it look seamless, like a George Lucas movie, or even the Richard Stanley version. I mean, it also has issues, that movie, if you like. I mean, we could have the same exercise here criticizing the Richard Stanley version. We could find faults in it, but the CGI works a lot better. That's not why I put it on the list. Usually, I don't really count the special effects as in my evaluations. But the fact is that here it's just distracting. That's just a fact. I mean, but the core issue, the main reason I didn't put it in my list is that there's a twist ending, which was added to the story. And the first time I watched it, I didn't get it. I didn't. I thought I kind of understood what it was supposed to mean, what it was supposed to be, but I didn't understand. I mean, I was pretty unsure what it was supposed to mean in real life. And I rewatched it, and yeah, it's exactly what I thought, but there's no point to it. And so yeah, that's the main thing is that, right? Is that the movie is super powerful. It's this close to being a masterpiece of Lovecraft adaptations, but it has this pointless twist ending, which really doesn't add anything at all. It's not warranted by the story at all. It's not. It doesn't follow the logic of the story. And it's confusing. It's contrarily to the rest of the movie. It's not done well. It's poorly executed. So you're not sure what you're seeing. You're not sure what the point is. It's kind of trying to go for a Kaiser Soze, Usual Suspects kind of thing, but it just doesn't. It doesn't work, and I think it's mainly because there's, again, as I said, there's no point to it. That is not what the story is about ultimately. So there's no, it doesn't change anything. That's the thing. It's pointless, and it doesn't follow the logic of the story. So yeah, that's why I didn't put it on my list. And so the Richard Stanley version strays a lot further from the story, but at its heart, I think it still captures the main ethos of the piece, and certainly the end sequence. Again, that sequence where the neighbor visits the farmhouse, and oh, you don't see my kid? He's over there, and the whole thing, and Samuel lives in the well now. That chilling, terrifying sequence. That part in the 2019 version, I thought it was really good, and I have to confess, I thought Nicolas Cage was really good. Anyway. So he was bold in that movie, and sometimes his boldness doesn't always work in all movies, but when it does, it does. Like, he was actually great in that Herzog movie, and he's great in the Color Out of Space. He was made for movies like that. So anyway, obviously it's up for discussion, but that's why. Also, I saw it on the big screen, and it traumatized me. It nearly drove me insane, the Richard Stanley version. So it scores some points for that. Anyway, but Die Farbe is still by far one of the best Lovecraft adaptations, and even though it has a few minutes at most of dodgy CGI, just a little bit of it, and even though the twist ending is pointless and doesn't work, most of the movie really works, and it's a work of love, and it shows, and they put a lot of work in it, and we are blessed to have it. So great job, Mr. Vu, and I'm looking forward to to your Dreamlands movie very much. And that's it for today. I have a Patreon if you want to support my work. I also have a Substack. I'll put the links somewhere below. Till then, take care of yourselves. Keep watching those guys. I do love the movie. I spend a lot of time. Maybe I spend a lot of time beating up on it, but it's really just 5 minutes of the movie that maybe made me not put it on the list. It is really as good as people say, except for that last bit. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Keep watching Out of the Skies. Live long and prosper. Ciao.